So we started putting the pattern on. You can see all of our pieces here we have to work with. If we have more, I have to go down and put the edges on more of them on with the router table. But for some reason I envisioned a starburst design coming off this corner here, kind of going up towards the stained glass window. So what I'm doing is I'm putting them on with one nail right now. I'm going to go make some more diamonds. I already have them made. I just have to put them on the router table for the edges. And I should say something about the lumber. So this is air-dried white pine, which we had cut last summer on our portable band sawmill. And the logs were taken off my home farm where I grew up in the Adirondacks, up in Waverly, New York. So it was cut with the band saws, and then I'm taking the rasp and going over the edge of it slightly, just real lightly, to take a little bit of the stuff off. So it's going to have a texture, but I think that'll look cool. We have our frame in all the way around, and it's came out pretty square, maybe not perfect, but according to this corner it's looking really good. And you have some forgiveness here. You know, we have to caulk all these joints, and there could be some shrinkage on the white pine, but if it is, we'll go back through and make sure we caulk it good, catch those seams a little bit more. Plus, this is an area where it should not get any water. So that's another nice thing about doing it in this area. It's well protected. The roof hangs out. You got protection. Most of the wind comes from that direction, so it can't really come around the corner. It'd be the last place to get wet on the porch, as long as the roof is intact, which we will do our best to keep intact now. I was also reading about air-dried lumber versus kiln-dried lumber. And I thought that it was really interesting to see some people posting what I had been thinking for a while now, and that is possibly air-dried lumber, because it's drying slower, may actually become harder and less brittle, and that's what some of the people are saying. So I think that's an interesting point, because all this house would have been built with air-dried lumber. It would have dried slowly over the years, at least a year or two before use, or in some cases when you're doing hemlock you can use it green and then it does shrink, but you're using it in places where the shrinkage is okay, it doesn't really matter. So they might have been using green lumber in many places. So that's just my 2 cents on the lumber, but I'm going to get back to doing our diamonds.